Hello, Jason.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
Really good. What you been up to these days?
Oh, man, a little bit of writing and playing and trying to keep my golf game alive.
Oh, we're a golfer also.
How are you doing?
I'm really good. So you
That's cool.
you've been writing some music for an upcoming album, maybe?
Uh-huh. Yep, absolutely.
How we doing with that?
We're actually just getting started with it. John Townsend and I have a couple of tunes or so, maybe three, in the hopper that we're going to introduce on the next album. One of them is a song called Die Tryin'. And man, I tell you, Jason, that song is so cool. It's a ballad, but the lyrics and John's delivery is just second to none. And I'm very proud to be a part of that song. And I can't wait till we can get it out there and get some opinions from people.
How's your equipment doing these days to get that tone like on that Toler and Townsend Band website? That new stuff you guys
Oh,
got on there, it's
wow.
really good stuff. The guitar tone.
Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you very much. You know, I what I that was there was one song on there. Actually, I think it's called Ollie Shuffle. The one that you're thinking of is an instrumental, and that sound is a Marshall amp with my Strat and a tube screamer, a little bit of reverb. Turn it up, let her eat.
So how much you turn it up to get that, fine tone?
How loud? Well, I took my Marshall amp. I run it. I've got a 50 watter that's been beefed up a little bit, but I'll run it on about 5 and maybe 5 on the gain as well, and presence on 6, mid range on 2, bass and treble to taste. I usually like those about 4 on the bass, 5, 6 on the treble, and then with the volume on your guitar, it's to me, and Dickey did this well with the Les Pauls, Dickey Betts. Uh, we would play, our volume, our rhythm volume on about 4 or 5, but then when you start taking a solo, you turn your guitar up to about 7,
Mm.
maybe 8. And as you get the band cooking, and you want to go to a little bit of a dynamic explosion over the top, so to speak, crank that guitar up on 10, and it seems like then that sweetness just comes out. And a lot of it has to be on the back side of the guitar, whose belly's touching the guitar
Yeah.
and whose hands are on the guitar. That's a lot of it too. But yeah, that's neat. I love the sound. The tone is, to me, is what it's all about. You can be a great player, and if you don't have tone, you're just a great player. But if you've got tone, you got everything.
How old is your Stratocaster you're playing?
Let's see. I picked that baby up in 1991 in a pawn shop in Manchester, Tennessee, which is right between Nashville and Chattanooga. And I walked into the store. I'd been playing. I had two Les Pauls at the time, and they were just, I'd been playing them for years, and my fingers would be black when I'd get done playing from playing so hard. And I just walked in the pawn shop. My brother lived in that area of Manchester and said, "Hey, come over to the pawn shop. There's a music store in it." Walked in, met the owner, Ken, and he said, "Just take a look, whatever you want to help yourself." So I started looking at some guitars, and I said, I've been wondering about a Strat for years, and the first one I picked up is the one I have now.
Hmm.
And I started playing around on it a little bit, Jason, and a little amp in the store. I didn't want to play too loud and disturb people. But I put the guitar down and tried 2 or 3, maybe a half dozen other Strats and guitars, and I kept going back to that red top I have, and So I just walked out the door with it, without the case or anything, threw it in the front seat of my Lincoln and went home. I called the guy up and I said, Ken, this is my guitar now. You're not getting it back. What do you want for it? And we made a deal, and the rest is history. I'm not really sure what the actual year is on that guitar. I would think 86, 87, something like that, possibly. Maybe 88. It has lace sensor pickups in it, and I love those.
I'm sure playing ability on it is probably great to play the feel of it. Those late 80s guitars, they're good.
Yeah, it's got the neck on it. It's just, I mean, it's fast and precise. It's Fender guitars are pretty cool. I know why they're one of the forerunners in the business, that's for sure, and have been for years. I also remember when the 1957 Les Paul went for $195.
And did you get one at that time?
No, I didn't. I sure didn't. I wished I had.
That's cheap.
But I didn't. Yeah, that's for sure.
Now you got to mortgage your house for one.
I know, man. What kind of guitars you got?
I play Gibsons and cut a couple Fenders.
Yeah, time?
I've been playing for 22 years now.
All right. Way to go, man.
Yeah.
Way to go. What style do you play? Are you a jazzer?
I'm a blues, rock, and hard rock guitarist. I play stuff like that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I got, the amps and all that stuff. This is a good question for you. Let's go back, when you played in the Allman Brothers, the tone you guys delivered when you were in the band, it's like nothing changed. What did you guys do to get this, energy on the albums? Enlightened Rogues and stuff.
We played loud. We had... Dickey and I, we both had 4 Marshall 100 heads, and we had 16 12-inch JBL K120s each.
Wow.
And we played very loud. And, for instance, we played at a place called the Spectrum in Philadelphia, 19,000-seater. There were no microphones on our amps. They would bring the volume of the PA up to match the volume of the guitar amps.
Wow.
And we had just a beautiful, true tone coming off that stage. People said, how do you get that sound? So, well, it's us and the guitar and the amp. You're not going through the PA, so nobody has control of your sound. Your sound projects out, that's what it is. And just so happens that those Les Pauls and Marshalls are a winning combination, just like a Strat and a Marshall, as you know. And that was pretty awesome. But to get that sound on recording, we brought in, I guess, like 8 12s each and 2 heads each. Now, when we were playing live and we had the 4 Marshall amps, we only used 2 at a time, and 2 of them were spares. And we would run like 1 amp on the volume of 2 and the other amp on the volume of 8. Then, at a lower volume, you could get a pretty good breakup sound if you needed it, and a good, clean rhythm sound, and it didn't, you didn't have to push it too hard to get some gut out of it. But on recordings, yeah, we had the same, pretty much, like half of the rig each in there, and it was loud. People in the other studios and the offices and that said we were really loud.
Now, how's the hearing?
What? Unfortunately, I wear a hearing aid now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. I made the mistake of walking in front of Dickey's amp one night while he was playing a solo, and it just about knocked me down. But I know I play loud, too. But I always tried to get out of the line of fire a little bit when I'd crank that guitar wide open. If I got in the line of fire, it could just knock you down. We had a we were playing in Helena, Montana one day, afternoon, and I had at the time, this was the Greg Allman Band in the from the 80s, 1980s, 82 through 89, and we were playing in Helena, and I had a Marshall amp that was reworked by a guy named Joel Evans down in Bradenton, Florida, and I had a transformer that was apparently a 400-watt transformer, that
Wow.
capability. But what was happening was when I used two 412 cabinets, I was pushing 285 watts. Well, we're playing along, and I'm playing at a low volume and on a rhythm in this one song, and we had my microphone on my amp was sitting on a kick drum mic stand, real little short stand, and it had fallen off onto the stage. And my guitar roadie saw that when he ran over there to put that back on the stand, and he said he heard this, and that was my volume going up, me turning it up, and he went, oh, and he couldn't get out of the way fast enough. And apparently I started out on my solo, and it knocked him down on the stage. And I looked back, and I happened to see him laying there, and a couple of guys went out and helped him up. And they said he had a little bit of blood coming out of his ear, but he doesn't have any hearing damage at this point in time, to my knowledge. I see him every now and then. Usually if I hurt somebody, they tell me.
Wow.
But, yeah, that was some power. That was the amp that I used on the I'm No Angel album. You know, we had them heavily isolated in, soundproof booths or rooms.
And you weren't in the room while it was playing.
Oh man, it would hurt you. Oh, Stevie Ray Vaughan, a good buddy of mine. He used to put his rig. He had two German heads in cabinets, and he'd put those in an empty semi trailer,
right,
back behind the stage, and that would be the sound that you would hear out front.
Oh
his
my.
guitar, and it would, you'd have a real good wooden resonation for reverb inside that trailer. And then he had a rig on stage, that was just a stage rig, but the most of his power was coming out of those amps in a trailer. And you couldn't talk or hear yourself think when you were standing pretty close to that trailer. You had to get out of there.
And that would be basically monitored to his system on stage like that.
Right.
Wow, incredible.
Right. Yeah, did you ever see him play?
I never seen him in my life play. I know exactly who he is.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
The stories, great. Wow.
What a great guy.
So you're basically making people ears bleed with all this stuff, injuries. That's incredible.
I don't do that now, Jason. We haven't been playing the big stages like the Allmans played with this band yet, but hopefully we'll get to that point. But and then I'll get some more equipment. But yeah, we don't play quite that loud anymore, thank goodness.
Well, that's a true legendary, story, by the Allman Brothers playing so loud, Stevie Ray Vaughan playing so loud.
Right, but I mean, it was that the Stevie Ray thing was in the parking lot behind the venue, whatever venue it would be, and if you were standing right next to that trailer, you'd have to get out of there because it was powerful, and what a killer sound it was, just beautiful.
What type of microphones you'd be putting on in front of these amps?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
Probably just the standards.
I would think so. Like an SM44 or something. I'm not really sure. And my manager Glenn could probably answer that question precisely and in detail on any of the gear.
let's say going back, in the Allman Brother days, how old were your guitars back then? Like, I'm sure you just didn't play the brand new guitar at that time.
Oh, how old were the guitars? I had a uh, 58 and Dickey had a 57 Les Paul.
Do you still own these guitars today?
Nope, I sure don't. I think Dickey still has one of his.
Those are classic machines you're talking about.
Oh, I know it. I know it. I just, couldn't stand just seeing them sitting around, not doing anything, and after I got my Strat, I said, that's probably what I'm going to end up playing the rest of my life unless somebody makes me something that makes me put this down, and that hasn't happened yet.
So you're keeping happy with the music these days and, writing and taking life easy?
Pretty much. There's a lot of music I really don't get, but there's still some really, really good music out there. There's some really good bands out there.
And
You ever listen to any Christian rock music?
yes, there's lots of good stuff like that.
There's some great bands. There are some great bands doing that stuff. I just started listening to that a little bit, and I go, man, those cats got the sound. They got a really, really good groups. They got a good idea about it. They were probably all, rock and rollers at one time. Maybe not all of them, but I would think some of them did.
Most likely they're probably all rock and rollers back in the day also,
Yep.
And just taking her easy and writing songs that, take less stress.
That's fun. That's a lot of fun, and I love just sitting around writing music, and then I've called Johnny T up. Hey Johnny, I'm sending some tracks to you, and he gets all excited, and then the next time I see him, he's got 2 or 3 songs written over my music, and I go, wow, that is killer.
Do you guys ever plan to make a DVD of your new band?
Yes, we are. We are going to do. I'm not sure how soon, Jason, but that's definitely in the plans. Not in the works yet, but it's definitely in our plans. Our show is May the 30th at the Palatka, Florida Blue Crab Festival, and we're going to try to have some shooting done there. As a matter of fact.
Awesome stuff.
Hopefully that'll turn out good. It'll be a nighttime show, 9:30 in the evening, so the lights will have all full stage lights. That'll be cool.
Get a good video camera in front, and you'll have a great show.
There you go.
Well, Dan, it's been a pleasure talking to you, man. Great stuff.
Man, you too, Jason. I hope to see you. You're in Nova Scotia?
Yeah, I'm in good old Nova Scotia.
Well, how far is Halifax from you?
3 hours or 2.5 hours.
Really? I played there with the Allman Brothers one time, and I thought, man, that's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been.
Oh, so you remember playing in Halifax?
Yes, I don't know. I don't remember where, but I know we did play there. I remember we spent like 3 days there, and I think it was just beautiful.
Well,
great weather, just very clean, very pretty. Everybody was friendly. Fantastic. That is cool. You ever get down to Florida at all? That's a pretty good little run for you.
No, I didn't go there ever, and someday I plan to go. So,
yeah, it's beautiful there too. Starting to get a little bit populated, a little too much, but that's just the way it is.
And where am I calling you from tonight?
We're in actually Ottawa, Tennessee, which is a suburb of Chattanooga.
Okay.
The home of the famous Chattanooga Choo Choo. Well, man, I hope to get to meet you someday.
You never know.
This would be love for us to come up there and play. You got to get us an agent to book us up there.
Well, I'll see what I can do. There's casinos and all sorts of stuff you can play.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool. I'm sure we'd come up there and everybody'd be happy with the band. I got a great band.
Oh, I know you got a great band. Your work on the website, from what I've heard, it's pure.
Oh, thanks, brother. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
And you're a great guitar player on top of that. I'll put it
well,
like that.
Thank you, my bro. God bless you. I appreciate that very, very much. With all my heart. Been working long enough. I guess I should play halfway decent.
That's a funny comment. I think you qualify to be one of, the biggest up there. It's too bad Guitar World magazine don't cover people like you.
Well, maybe they will. Hopefully, this album will take off a little bit. We'll force that to happen.
Well, Dan, I'll see what I can do about that.
Well, I appreciate it, my friend. I really do.
All right. Well, you have a great evening, and thanks again for taking the time to talk to me.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime you want to talk again, don't hesitate.
Sure thing. You say
We'll
thanks to Glenn there. You say
I sure will, buddy. Thank you very much. Say hello to all our fans up there.
All right. Good
Thanks.
night.
Okay, bye.